Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I do want to speak about the breaking news about Marvel deciding to not use the Wolverine in their X-Men film that will be releasing after Secret Wars. It does state here, and I quote, Marvel Studios' X-Men reboot film will reportedly not include the Wolverine. Hugh Jackman will continue to play the character likely even after Avengers Secret Wars. So I am going to be explaining why Marvel could be making this decision and how the story might unfold. Keep in mind that with everything that I'm going to be saying, it's not factual, it's not real. All of this is just speculation and it is theories. Because look, it has left many fans wondering why Marvel would make a decision like this. Like, how could Wolverine's story continue in the MCU without him being in the first X-Men film? Now, to get one thing very clear, this has already been done before by Fox. We have already gotten about 2 movies where the X-Men did not have the Wolverine. So with the MCU introducing the X-Men for the first time and not having Wolverine in there is nothing new. The MCU is going to be repeating exactly what did happen in the X-Men First Class film and X-Men Apocalypse, and even with Dark Phoenix. In my opinion, I think that if we can get an X-Men film that does contain maybe Gambit, Cyclops, Phoenix, Beast, Nightcrawler, Storm, right, to the main ones, then that would be good enough. I think that many of the Marvel fan base would enjoy an X-Men film like that. In the past 25 years, Wolverine, and especially Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, has been the main focus. I think that a lot of us do want to see something new, and I believe that Marvel also understand this. Kevin Feige would love to introduce an X-Men film that focuses on other characters, because Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is simply just too big by this point. He's too big of a star. If you do introduce him back into the first X-Men film, everybody's going to be focusing on that one character, which is Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. So this whole idea of having an X-Men film without Wolverine makes a lot of sense. But here's going to be the next question. Why in the world are we going to continue with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine instead of just having a brand new Wolverine character that is played by another actor? That has been one of the biggest concerns coming from the fan base. And I understand that, but I think that whatever did happen in Deadpool 3 and seeing how Deadpool made that joke that they were going to make him do this until he was 90, they were actually being real about that. Like, they actually think that they can pull off Hugh Jackman playing this character for at least another 8 to 10 years. This could possibly be the direction that they are going. And I'm not going to lie, in my personal opinion, if you continue with Hugh Jackman as the Wolverine for the Mutant Saga, to me he looks fine. He does not look like he's 65, 70 years old. He looks very young and he does take care of himself very well. I mean, like, think about it, right? How in the world are you going to drop Hugh Jackman as the Wolverine, bring in another actor after you have witnessed Deadpool 3 getting $1.4 billion in the box office? People want to see him. He's a money printing machine. The fan base loves him, and Kevin Feige does know that. Marvel does know that. You put Hugh Jackman's face onto any Marvel film, whether it's a team up or his solo film or an X-Men film, people want to see that, and that is why they want to keep him. Because to be honest, yes, there are other alternatives. There are other actors. Many have claimed to say that, you know, the Wolverine could be the next one. It could be Henry Cavill to play the Wolverine for the Mutant Saga, to be our brand new Wolverine for the MCU. And I don't think so. I think that he was a great cameo. He made a great appearance and also looks like a great Wolverine, but that is very unlikely to happen. So now the next question is going to be, how will the story go? And I'm not going to lie, I think that based off what we have heard from Wolverine in Deadpool 3, he's most likely going to be very isolated, going through the multiverse saga and post Secret Wars. Because in Deadpool 3, when he was talking to Deadpool, he did say, fuck the Avengers. He does not like the Avengers at all. He knows about them. He knows that they exist, but he does not like them whatsoever. Because maybe potentially the story was that the Avengers saw the mutants as outcasts, as people who are not liked by the rest of the world. And then as for the X-Men team, maybe this new version of the Wolverine that we have witnessed in Deadpool 3 probably does not want to go back and join the X-Men again, because he feels like he does not need to put himself in another X-Men team. Because keep in mind, the X-Men team that he was in no longer exists because they are dead. He explained it in the movie. So when we do see the brand new MCU's X-Men, he's gonna look at them and say, okay, I know who you guys are. I know what you guys do. I have seen this movie before, but this time I'm going to be stepping out. So I would say that Wolverine will be looking at the Avengers and just say, fuck them. But as for the X-Men, he'll say, I love them, but I'll step out. And if they ever do need any advice, I can step in and give them that, because he is a mutant just like all of them. I mean, what else is he going to do? Is he going to go to like a different universe or something like that? Because that's not going to happen. After Secret Wars, we are going to be aligned into just one connected, unified timeline, and that's basically it. This version of the Wolverine is not going to be going anywhere. I mean, like, look, we will see him help the rest of the superheroes when Doctor Doom does arrive in Doomsday and also in Secret Wars. Like, we will see him interact with the Avengers, interact with the X-Men. Maybe not be like their best friends, but in the end help the multiverse, because at the end of the day, he is a superhero. He is not a villain. He will do what it takes to make sure everybody is protected. But in the end, once the chaos dies down and we are in the post Secret Wars era, that is where the Wolverine will go on his own. And you know what does get me the most excited about this whole situation is the fact that we have also heard rumors and reports about Kevin Feige potentially making a Avengers versus X-Men film. Can you imagine an Avengers versus X-Men film where they go up against each other because they do have their differences, of course, right? Because the Avengers don't see the X-Men as humans. They see them as just outliers. And then you have the X-Men saying, okay, we are outliers, but we stand our ground. Can you imagine all of that going on while the Wolverine witnesses an event like that happening? Like, where and what side would he be going to? Could he potentially act as a connector in the end? Because he is a veteran, he's seasoned, he's experienced. Could he potentially be the connector and be the reason why the X-Men and the Avengers do align with one another? Because maybe he might look at this and say, hey, look, it's important for us to be united, to be just one team, to work together, because you just never know when the next threat could happen. The last thing you want to do is to be divided, because the last thing that I did with my X-Men team was me dividing myself, and that is the reason why I was in the predicament that I was in back in my universe. So maybe he could say something like that if the Avengers versus X-Men event does take place. It's very interesting what you can do, and I understand why Kevin Feige might make this decision, because somebody who is a veteran like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, he can really be used for multiple things, to fix things, to give him more purpose. And then eventually in the future, maybe in X-Men 2 that would be made by Marvel, then you can incorporate the Wolverine eventually joining the team, which would be amazing. You slowly build the X-Men to becoming one massive team. You just start with a total of 5, very similar to how the Avengers started. They started with a total of like 4 to 5 characters, and they eventually grew more and more. It all started with the Hulk, Captain America, Iron Man, Hawkeye, and Black Widow. With the X-Men, you can start with Cyclops, Phoenix, Beast, Iceman, and Storm. So it's very exciting, and I can't wait to see what the MCU has in plan for both the character and the future of the X-Men. So that is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.